Hey everyone, I hope you're well. It's been a very long time since you've seen me because I've been really busy. And well, at this hour, it's actually about 3 a.m. right now, and I happen to have some free time. So I may as well shoot this video that has been long overdue since September. Back in September of last year, Happy New Year by the way. Back in September of last year, I posted in the Malaysian Mechanical Keyboard group, the Facebook group, for questions from the community regarding mechanical keyboard questions. But since explanations and Q&As on mechanical keyboards are widely available on YouTube by other YouTubers, I wanted to focus onto something that's more relevant to the things that I do. I sell and supply mechanical keyboards from China, and I offer a lot of alternative switches to Cherry. Those are Otemu, Kale, and Gaterons. So this segment of the video would be, the genre of this video would be more relevant to those of you who are looking into saving a lot of money when it comes to buying a mechanical keyboard. That's it. So let's begin. I think the lighting's better when it's coming from there, not directly on my face, so you can't see any weird reflections of my glasses. Anyway, let's see, what do we got? Chin Nam asks, is cleaning a keyboard necessary? Of course it's necessary. You have no idea the kind of crap that I've dealt in the past dealing with mechanical keyboards that are not properly taken care of. Because aside from servicing the own keyboards that I sell, sometimes I have customers who have old Razer mechanical keyboards, whatever mechanical keyboards that they purchased from way back then in 2013, 2012, and they would start having problems with their keyboards, and since the warranty is already out, so they would send it to me, I'll have a look. I generally decline requests like that because I'm just too busy for that, but well, since they keep asking for it, so can't really say no. I received it, and I'm going to put a photo in right now. Yeah, the rust is really crazy, so please take care of your mechanical keyboard. I don't really recommend washing the keycaps often, because when you're washing the keycaps of a mechanical keyboard, wait, hold on, this is a keycap by the way, let's get it focused. You're gonna make water droplets go inside to the plus, and is it focusing? Right, you get the point. Water goes into the plus, and there are 104 of those keycaps, 87 if you're a TKL guy, 61 if you're a 60% guy, blah blah blah. There's going to be a lot of water droplets inside a lot of keycaps, and they are very easy to miss. Now, you would think that you've already dried them enough by leaving them under the sun, whatever, for like a day. It still wouldn't be enough. You would, preferably, if you are to wash them or to soak them in a detergent or anything like that, you should dry them for at least 2 days. That's my personal recommendation. And on the 2-day mark, when you're fixing it back onto your keyboard, always get like a newspaper or a towel. Newspaper is easier because you'd be able to see the water droplets, so you'd be able to know there's still some water residue in it. You're going to have to take the wet keycap, or the ones that you think that is already dried. You're going to need to knock it, and there will be some water droplets, trust me. So I don't recommend washing your keycaps often. Maybe once a year is good enough. On other times though, because dust and etc. gets easily onto keyboards and everything like that, especially if you don't have a plastic cover or cloth to put over it when you're not using it, you should use this. This is a brush that is easily available from the hardware store. I think this is meant for brushing onto wood, painting a protection layer on wooden furniture and things like that. It's pretty handy. This is really effective when it comes to brushing off the dust in between your keycaps. Let me demonstrate. Okay, not a mechanical keyboard. Not a mechanical keyboard, but just to demonstrate. Brush. It'll all fly away. It's really convenient. Moving on. Hakim Hanif asks, hi, why don't you just read this through? I'm just gonna leave it on for 5 seconds, and you're gonna pause it if you haven't finished reading it. Okay, I think it's easy to make assumptions like that RID switches are very similar to membranes. They are not. A membrane keyboard, like this, a membrane keyboard, there are 3 layers. Top layer is the keycaps. The middle layer is a rubber dome. The rubber dome will be compressed when you push down a key. When you push down a key, the rubber dome touches the contact point on the circuit board and the key is activated. Now, you would think that since it is not a mechanical keyboard and it's not relying on mechanical parts, it will be more durable. It's not. Rubber domes are really prone to wearing out. Wait, getting back to the question. RID switches. Why does Hakim think RID switches are very similar to membrane keyboards? Well, RID switches are inaudible when you're pressing them down. I don't have a RID switch keyboard with me because I used to have a quick CM Storm, but I signed up for a warranty. Good keyboard though. Anyway, the RID switches, when you're pressing it down, you won't hear any clicks or anything like that. Same thing goes with the membrane keyboard. When you press it down, there's no click. A mechanical keyboard has all the clicks. And, well, when we say clicks, we usually mean green switches or blue switches. Awesome. And, oh, right. Hakim also asks, which is worthy in terms of long-term use? Well, that's a bit of a tough question. Long-term use. It depends on what you even use the keyboard for. If you are an office worker, or maybe you only play games 30% of the time you use a computer, then you probably should avoid RID switches altogether. RID switches are just too freaking sensitive. You're pressing on it and when you're looking at your screen, it's fine. But if you're not looking on your screen and you're looking at your keyboard and you're typing, in my personal experience, you're very likely to end up double typing. Because RID switches, they do not have any feedback when you're pressing it down. It's just all the way down. And there's no click, there's nothing. And when you press it down, you tend to miss some letters. Like I'm saying, it's very good for gaming, but you're not going to game 100% of the time you're using a keyboard, you're using a computer. Not like when you're using a console, you're going to play games 100% of the time. Sure, but this is a PC. You use your PC to do work, not just playing games. So I do not recommend using RID switches in the long term. And yeah, well, trust me, I've used a lot of RID switch keyboards and they're my most hated switch. I'm biased against RID switches. Now, in terms of cheapness, I mean, like he's also asking about price goods. I'm guessing he's talking about good pricing. Good pricing, I would definitely say it's blue switches. In China, the demand for blue switches is just too high. Like, seriously high. When it's so high, it makes mass production possible and keeps the costs down. There are price differences. That's why many times when not just my catalogs, when you're looking around the internet for cheap Chinese alternative mechanical keyboards, they all come in blue switches because of the power of economics. When there's a mass demand of it, prices go down. It's good for us. Amirul Hafiz asks, who wants to buy my Strafe? If I had the extra money, I would buy your Strafe. Corsair Strafe mechanical keyboards are good, but I just dislike the fact that they do not come in blue switches. Oftentimes it's MX Silent, MX Red, which is like MX Silent. Actually, they're two really similar switches. And MX Browns, which I do not really like because they are like, in Malay we usually say, never mind, I forgot the phrase, but basically it's a halfway measure. It's, you're not siding anyone, you're on the fence and you're using brown switches. No offense to brown switch users, but that's just what I feel. It's not satisfying enough and it's not quiet enough. If I want it to be quiet, it's definitely not quiet. Brown switches are not quiet. Hikmat JB asks, how you make people... Okay, I'm just gonna skip this. That Chinese guy. Sick name, bro. In your opinion, what will be the future of mechanical keyboards or the PC gaming industry in Malaysia? Well, I would say that for the second question, PC gaming community in Malaysia, well, the trend follows the West. Whatever that's going on in the West, we will experience it as well. The only issue is always our weak ringgit. That's about it. So there's really no saying what the future holds for the PC gaming community, but it's an interesting time to be around. The future of mechanical keyboards. Another question that I'm not really sure about, but it does seem like we are approaching the end point of the advancement of mechanical keyboards. From this point on, most mechanical keyboards are really good already, and even if there's going to be improvements, it's not going to be much. And my only hope is that mechanical keyboards will get more affordable. That's not the current trend right now. Chinese keyboards are getting more affordable, but established brands, they are not affordable at all. They were not affordable 4 years ago. They are not affordable now. Zarif Zamana, I know his name is Zarif. He actually bought an N Pro 60% keyboard from me. He asks, what makes Vortex Poker so expensive? Is it a good change for me from K65 RGB? He ended up buying a 60% mechanical keyboard from me, although it's not Vortex, but 60% mechanical keyboards are generally more expensive, even though less material is used, but a lot of economics. Lower demand, higher prices. It's not a keyboard for everyone. In fact, I do not even like 60% mechanical keyboards because there's no directional arrow keys unless you map it on your WASD, but I need to use both my WASD and my directional arrow keys, so yeah. Hafizi asks, complete guide to keycaps. Actually, Luke from Linus Tech Tips has already made a video about this. But where to get? For Malaysians, it's oftentimes best to get from local resellers. They bring in a lot and they save a lot on shipping, and the savings pass on to you. It's really good buying. It's a really good thing to be buying from them rather than getting it from Mass Drop or wherever else. You might get taxed if you order them overseas. So it's way better to get them locally. Haida Ismail, another customer. Is the LED really change your gaming work performance? My answer is already there. That Chinese guy, again, sick name, bro. Why did mechanical keyboards die out during the early 2000s? Well, I've already explained about this, and in fact, I actually have a 90s mechanical keyboard over here. Thanks to Isa Ali Imran. Hello, bro. Thanks for the keyboard. You're gonna understand why they kind of die out. They are really loud. They are much louder compared to blue switches and green switches by Cherry MX, by Optemo, by everyone else. Those are not using your standard Cherry profile switches. They are actually using buckling spring, very prominent in the 90s and 80s. That keyboard itself, it's older than me and it's still functioning. So yeah, mechanical keyboards are really long life. Meanwhile, this membrane keyboard that I just showed earlier, it's no longer working. It kind of died. It costs about 40, 50, 60 ringgit, depending on where you get them. I got them from free from a supplier, for shits and giggles, I guess. Yeah, it died. It's not working. If something's too cheap, it's probably going to be a waste of money. Shami asks, why do you hate K70, Wayne Cheah? Say what you want, won't hate you. Just want to know. Well, my answer's already here. Yeah, K70, it's really... I really like the Strafe way more than K70, despite what people feel that metal is more premium and the Strafe was a mostly plasticky keyboard. But the K70 was easily scratched and I wasn't comfortable having it on my desk for long. And also, I have had a lot of driver issues when it comes to K70 and K95 RGB keyboards. Strafe, not as often, still happens, but K70 and K95, I had a lot of issues. I had to crawl down under my desk and reach out for two USB ports, one USB 3.0 and one USB 2.0, plug them out, swap them, and plug them back in, still wouldn't connect, plug them out again, and plug them back in. It happens all the time whenever I boot my PC up. I don't know why. I never got into solving that. I just sold the keyboards off. Oh right, LEDs were really dark, but they kind of rectified that already with the new Lux editions. I like their lighting modes, but still too expensive for me to buy. Boon Shante asks, What is the difference between type of keycaps, ABS, PBT, and why keycap is so expensive? I'm guessing you're asking why keycap is so expensive is because of, you're talking about custom keycaps. Custom keycaps are whereby you buy your keyboard and you want extra keycaps to put on your keyboard. Why is it so expensive? Well, again, it all comes back to economics. When there's a lower demand, prices go up. You'd be surprised to find out how few people actually want to spend their money on custom keycaps. It's really, really expensive. Oh, ABS and PBT. Okay. This is the keycap I showed you earlier. It comes with a ducky mechanical keyboard. It's been used for quite a number of years. Notice the shine. Okay, you see the shine? That's wear and tear. This is an S key. I used to play a lot of Team Fortress 2, so I would always be smashing on WASD. And the WASD, when it keeps rubbing with my fingers. My fingers are not that oily, but they sweat a little bit from time to time. And over time, the sweat kind of ruins the top layer of this ABS keycap and causes it to shine and the legends to turn bad. It's hard to get it to focus. I'm sorry. I don't have a camera operator. I'm doing this alone. Let me get you a PBT keycap as an example. This is a high quality PBT keycap. It's also an S key and I use it a lot. There is no shine. If you were to use a flash camera and take a photo of it, you will still not see any sort of shine. Well, PBT is really, really good. And actually, I've been using this not for too long, so there's only one way to find out. But PBT is way more expensive than ABS because they are harder to mold and, well, they are a lot more durable. That IBM Model M mechanical keyboard behind me, by the way, I already told you, it's older than me. I'm 23 this year. That keyboard's 26 years old. And it's still holding its white. It's not as white as it once was, but it's not yellow either. So that's really awesome. Okay, Ronald Ong asks, for the first question, is it possible to change the USB cable that looks like spring? If you can, do you sell it? I don't sell it. Other sellers sell it. It's usually for the more expensive mechanical keyboards, not Corsair by the way. I'm talking about mechanical keyboards that are not so gamery. And tournament edition mechanical keyboards also come with detachable USB cable. But yeah, a few advantages of detachable USB cable is that you can detach it, put it in your bag, and travel easier with it. But it also gives you the ability to customize the outlook of the keyboard, which is nice. But there are two main disadvantages. First, if you lose it, you're gonna have to go to the shop to buy again. Actually, not that big of a problem. USB mini and micro USB cables are very commonly found. But the second one, this is a problem faced by Luke over at Linus Tech Tips as well on his Ducky keyboard. His Ducky keyboard also features a detachable USB cable option, and he plugs it out a lot. Over the last couple of years, he's been plugging it out a lot, and eventually the keyboard died. Turns out it's due to his the USB port's daughter board failing. Wait, it didn't fail. It just kind of broke, and he did some soldering and super gluing. I'm really not sure. It's really tedious. But at least he got his keyboard back to life. For his second question, are mechanical switches created equally? I own cherry blue and some switches felt different, dude. Some switch got double click sound, some no click, some stiff, some soft. I think you had a bad batch of cherry MX mechanical switches. But yeah, it's a common issue among blue switches. Some of them lose clickiness, which is why if you were to purchase mechanical keyboards from me, if there's any case of a keyboard switch turning non-clicky, although it's still detecting but it's not clicky anymore, you can claim warranty. And if you're around my area, if you're in KL, you can just drop by my place and I'll have it done within an hour. It's clicky. And when Ronald was talking about his cherry MX Blues not being clicky, I kind of get where he's coming from. Give me a moment. I'm back. This is a cherry blue switch. Notice something? It's not clicky. Gateron blue. This is a proper functioning Gateron blue. It's clicky. This, it feels like a brown switch now. Turn off. And it's quite a hassle to replace them. So, oh wait, back to the question. It all boils down to quality control. If the quality control for that batch is good, you're in luck. If not, but generally the more expensive Cherry MX mechanical keyboards, for example Corsair's Premium, Cherry MX Silent, and those mechanical keyboards, they are made better in my opinion. Cheaper mechanical keyboards, even though they say they come with Cherry mechanical switches, they might be done with some compromise on quality. Might be. I say might be, but it happens a lot more often. Like for example, wait, I shouldn't mention brands. It's like going to be slandering them. But these brands are usually below 400 ringgit, and they often have a lot of warranty claims on switches. So that's an often issue with them. Muhammad Daniel Fidaus, he didn't actually ask a question. He's just commenting Philco the best.
Rock.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
He actually had
Philco's not the best. No, seriously, Philco is better than many other established brands that are out there, but I just don't really find them that attractive for myself. Maybe because I'm more of a bling bling RGB lighting kind of guy. Fakri Hafik asks, for the time being, which brand that you prefer to be the best to buy mechanical keyboard and the reason why? Well, I'm assuming you're asking something that is not related to the keyboards that I sell, so let's talk about other brands. I would say Razer. It's a very unpopular opinion, but the new Razer Black Widow Chroma X's, they're pretty damn sweet. If you can afford them, if money is not an issue, you should consider buying them. Oh, the reason why? The software is so much easier to use compared to Corsair's utility engine. It is very user-friendly, and you could customize a lot of lights and everything. Although, of course, after some time you do get bored with them. The reason why I prefer the X over the previous one is because the X comes with a standard bottom row, and that it doesn't use the previous generation of switches that really didn't feel that good. They have improved once Greetech took over. Bishan Ripple Patel, since you're making the video to guide these newbies, might as well you tell them the difference between rainbow and RGB. Yes, some people might get confused between the two. Actually, honestly speaking, it's not some people, it's a lot of people. I'm based in Malaysia, but I have a reach to a lot of Filipino customers as well. And many of them are oftentimes consulting me regarding situations whereby they can't adjust the lighting of their keyboard. Ola, because of my video and many other YouTubers' videos, Ola is pretty popular in the Philippines as well. But the thing is, in the Philippines, there aren't that many mechanical keyboard sellers. I'm talking about the more affordable Chinese brand ones. So they oftentimes have to resort to this website called Lazada. And on Lazada, there are Ola sellers as well. But these Ola sellers, well, I do not want to slander or anything, but they are not selling the same mechanical keyboards that I'm selling, made by Ola. In Malaysia, there are two suppliers that provide Ola RGB with Gateron switches. From them, you won't get Gateron switches, and sometimes you won't get RGB. It depends. For my Filipino friends over there, if you're watching this, if the Ola RGB is somewhere between 2k pesos, 2,000 over pesos, don't get it. It's probably rainbow. When I say rainbow, I mean this. Here's a Lingyi mechanical keyboard that I sell. Now, I really love the Lingyi. It's very sturdily built, but it's meant to be a budget keyboard brand, so there's no RGB lighting. Okay, I'm going to connect this. my phone. Is it gonna be... You're gonna be able to see it. I'm just gonna turn off the light. Right. Now, if you notice, the lights are... If you notice, the lights are all in a line. This is a really terrible indication. When it's like this, sellers usually say multi-LED, multi-color LED. It's not RGB. The bulbs will not change colors. I'm sorry for not making a video explaining this sooner. It's actually very important. Many people have gotten misrepresented well, they ended up spending their hard-earned money getting a keyboard like this and thinking that it's going to be RGB. It's not. Yeah, for Ola Wings of Liberty mechanical keyboard, many of the cheaper ones only feature a lighting like this. This is why a lot of you guys are commenting on my YouTube channel, on my YouTube videos, and also messaging me on my Facebook page, asking me why can't I change the lights on my keyboard. This is why. They are cutting corners and, well, they're trying to sell you something that is much more cheaper at a more expensive pricing, and yeah, that's what happens. I can't really do much because Philippines is not directly not exactly really close to Malaysia, and if I were to ship that, it's not going to be worth the money. So yeah. Oh wait. RGB on the other hand, whoa. RGB on the other hand, this is Poland. Now, this Poland so yeah, Poland. A little bit more expensive than my Lingyi. The disadvantage is that it doesn't have a numpad over here, but it does come with RGB lighting and slightly better switches. These are using KO Blue switches. I'm gonna turn on the lighting right now. When I say on, I mean off. So yeah, as you can see, the lighting now is red in color, and you can change it to other colors. This is true RGB. You can change the colors. Now, a helpful way of determining whether the keyboard that you're purchasing from an online seller is RGB or not is to see the lights are not arranged based on lines. But this is not a surefire way of knowing whether it is an RGB keyboard or not. Even if the lights are not in line, well, it could still be a fixed color mechanical keyboard. You just have to be aware. You need to do your research, see if the seller is trustable or not. Because, for example, like the Ola in Lazada, Philippines and Malaysia and Singapore, wherever, they are not in your country. They are sellers based overseas, which is why you see in the product page it's usually no warranty and this product ships from overseas. And their objective is only to...
The one word that makes it all possible, and that word is sell. I want you to get out there and sell, sell, sell. I want you to sell your socks off.
So yeah, that's how it is. It sucks, I know, when people are taking advantage of unknowing people, but there is a Latin word for this. Caveat emptor, buyer be aware. So do your research. If it's too cheap, it's too good to be true. And sometimes if it's too cheap, even though it's a mechanical keyboard, it's not going to be as good as other mechanical keyboards. My mechanical keyboards are great. They are super awesome. But there are mechanical keyboards that are just produced too cheaply, don't come with warranty, don't even come with anti-ghosting. And yeah, this is one thing. About 5 months ago, there's this guy in the PC gaming community, and he was approached by a manufacturer over in China where the manufacturer offered, if you were to buy 20 mechanical keyboards from my company, I will charge you a really cheap price, or give you a really good price for it. Of course, this person, who is also my friend, by the way, I won't say his name, he gathered 20 people, collected money from everyone. It's really cheap, by the way. It's about 140 ringgit, if I remember correctly. 140 ringgit, that was the cost price of it if you buy 10, 20. Oh crap, I can't remember. There was a minimum order. So, brought together, ordered, things came, and there was no anti-ghosting. How did they know? Basically, they just had to press more than 3 or 4 keys on the keyboard, and the keys don't register. I'm going to put a screenshot over here right now, and this is what I experimented with someone who approached me, and when I asked him to press a few concurrent keys at the same time, only one letter showed up. That's a really bad thing for gaming. If you were to play, for example, Counter-Strike Go, you're pressing W to move forward, and you're pressing Control to crouch, and you're pressing R to reload. So you're pressing 3 keys all together. You might stop moving, or you might stand up, or you won't reload. Something will happen. You will die after that. Yeah, and if you're using an invoker in Dota or any other castle or anything, but let's talk invoker, you're going to end up being an injoker, because you're not going to activate some keys, some spells. So be aware, if it's too cheap, there might be some important features lacking, or the switches themselves might be brandless. Brandless switches are a very common thing. They are crap, they are inconsistent, and they die really easily. If they don't come with warranty, you're gonna get screwed. So if it's really cheap, just make sure there's warranty. That's the important thing. Next question. Let's move on to another question now. Ng Bai Zeng asks, first question, any difference between a mechanical feel membrane keyboard versus a real mechanical keyboard? Definitely. A mechanical feel keyboard is not a keyboard with individual switches or 104 different switches. It's all a single piece of thing. So if one breaks, the whole keyboard's going to be unusable. And they are really, really crappy. And they are expensive. When I say expensive, I don't mean in the sense that it costs as much as a mechanical keyboard, or else what's the point of buying a mechanical feel keyboard? But if something breaks, and it's very, very easy for that to happen, you're going to throw the whole thing to the dustbin, and you're going to waste 100 ringgit. So no, you either get a cheap and good membrane keyboard like Dell, HP, or you save up and get a mechanical keyboard. Don't get something in between. You're going to lose out a lot in terms of value, and you're going to have a hard time selling it second hand. People these days, when you're trying to sell your old keyboard to them, they're going to ask you, is it mechanical or boss? If it's not mechanical, good luck trying to sell it. Second, lifespan of a mechanical keyboard. Well, as I've explained earlier, that keyboard behind me is a 25-year-old mechanical keyboard. Still acts like new. Doesn't have USB, doesn't have a start key, but it still works really good. So that should say something about... Oh, and I was talking about the dead membrane keyboard. So this should give you a rough idea on the lifespan of a keyboard, a mechanical keyboard versus a membrane keyboard. Third question, should I change custom keycaps? All depends on what you want on a mechanical keyboard. If you're the creative person, you have a lot of money to spend, you can use a custom mechanical keycap set. They generally cost from as low as 50 ringgit to a few thousand ringgit. I'm not joking about the few thousand ringgit. But yeah, if you want to change, you can change. If you have enough budget, I would suggest trying out Enjoy PBT. Those are dice-up keycaps. They won't, the lights won't pass through the letters. The lights won't pass through the letters, and it will just illuminate from the side. If you have an RGB or lighted keyboard, it's gonna not show up. That's around $100 US. Enjoy PBT. If your budget's lower than that, you can get Taihao. Taihao is... This is Taihao. I don't sell it. I bought it from a supplier who is actually a local seller. This is also non-backlit, whereby you can't have light go through it, but quality is okay. It costs about 150 ringgit. For the ABS, by the way. PBT is about 200 plus. Now, Vortex PBT is also a good one. Again, 200 ringgit for the better ones. Their cheaper entry-level ones are okay. But back to the question. Should I change custom keycaps? Up to you. If you're bored of your keyboard already, instead of changing to another keyboard, if you feel like you still like your keyboard, you still like the way it feels, maybe you can change the keycaps. Or maybe, if your keyboard comes with crappy stock keycaps, like the OK95 RGB that I had, I really hated the keycaps. Anyway, if you want to change it, yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's going to make your keyboard look brand new. Yeah, like I said, rather than spending on a new mechanical keyboard. How to clean mechanical keyboard? I explained it in the very first question of this video. Best deals of mechanical keyboard every month. I don't know the answer to that. I am sorry. You just gotta check with suppliers every month, or maybe you could check out sellers having their clearance sales or year-end sales or whatever. I know the other day Indonesia had a clearance sales for their Philco mechanical keyboards. They were pretty there were pretty nice discounts. About 399 ringgit could get you a Magic Touch 2. That was really a good deal. I know it's still quite a lot more expensive than the keyboards that I sell, but again, Philco is not cheap. It's a Japanese brand, and for under 400 ringgit, if you can get it, then maybe it's a good deal. Okay, let's move on. Zach Fu, what kind of switch benefits the most from lubing? I've heard a lot of different stories when it comes to lubing. I myself do not do it because I am a Gateron person, and for Gateron and even Kale, it's not like Cherry, you know. Cherry, when you press the keys, it's gonna scratch a lot. It's gonna sound very scratchy. That's the way we describe it. The reason for lubing it is to make it smoother. Gaterons are already smoother than Cherry switches. Gaterons are really smoother. They are very nice to press, and there is no scratchiness when you press it down. So I have no experience when it comes to lubing. Yeah, I should have said that in the first place. Second question. What kind of safety measures for soldering switches to prevent hurting the board? Well, okay, this is more of a custom keyboard kind of a question. When it comes to soldering switches, just don't overdo it. If possible, use a proper soldering station. Don't use those single piece, and then at the end of it there is the power plug soldering thingy. It's really cheap. Those are like, yeah, you can get it from Mr. DIY for like under 30 ringgit. Those are pretty crappy and they are pretty dangerous. You cannot control the temperatures. You are likely to hurt your board if you use that. So just be mindful. Don't melt the solder for too long. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But rather than worrying about the safety measures when it comes to dealing with a keyboard or towards the board, you should always keep in mind your own safety. When you're doing soldering work, try to get a proper face mask cover, and this is probably overdoing it, but it is an effective protection, so maybe you can try doing something like this. And if you're not wearing glasses, maybe it might be a good idea to wear goggles. While lead does not evaporate, I mean turn into gas at under 1000 degrees, you will end up vaporizing solder flux. Flux it's debatable. Some people think it's safe, many people think it's not. So might as well just not have it enter into your lungs or anything like that, or your eyes. Third question. What could break the board while soldering other than intense heat? Scratching the PCB trays. This is easier to happen actually, rather than overheating and lifting up the pads and everything like that. If you're using a you're using the soldering tool, right? When you're soldering whatever you're melting solder, and then you were to sneeze or anything like that, you're gonna do a big scratch towards the PCB. You're in for a bad time. It's probably not repairable. Maybe it's repairable, but it's not worth the trouble. So yeah, that could ruin the board. Fourth question. Okay. Ajim asks. Ajim's such a nice guy, when I met him. Hey, hope you're well, man. Gateron Blue and KO Blue. Which one do you think is better in terms of quality and tactile feel? Which one has louder clicky sound between those two? My little bro owns Ultimo Blue Switch keyboard and is really damn loud and annoy me too much. Okay, generally, Gaterons are higher quality than KO. I'm just gonna... Yeah, Gaterons are higher quality than KO. Yeah, Gateron, KO. But when it comes to loudness, Gateron is definitely louder than KO. And yeah, the clicks are louder, almost as loud as Ultimo. Tactile feel, I like the KO's tactile feel more than Gateron's, believe it or not. I don't know. It's just a personal preference. I can't really explain it. But yeah, those two, and actually including Ultimo, with these three switch brands, you can't really go wrong with them. Ultimo has a higher tendency to fail, sure, because it's a cheaper switch. There's lower quality control. But if you're purchasing it from someone with warranty, you don't need to worry about it. If there's any issues, you can just send it back to the seller. For myself, a plus point for buying from me is that if you have switch issues or anything, or LED issues for that matter, LED issues for that matter, you can send it to me. It will be settled within a few hours. So if you're in the area, like I said earlier, if you're in the area, you can just drop it by, go have lunch or something like that, and come and collect it back. It'll be done by then. Again, it doesn't really happen often with Gateron and KO, more on the Ultimo side. Okay, another guy. Zeyong Hui. This guy is the founder of Rextech, if you guys know him. With all the brands having their own silent and clicky keys, how different are they from Cherry? Their own silent and clicky keys. I'm not too sure what you mean by that. All the brands, I'm guessing you're talking about Ultimo, KO, Gaterons again. How different are they from Cherry? They are different, yes, but not in a bad way. Cherry is overrated in my opinion, especially when it comes to... It's 2017 now, and maybe you shouldn't be spending that much money on Cherry switches because they are just really expensive. But if you can get it for sub 400 ringgit, might be a good buy. Personally, using Razer Stealth, that would be orange switches, Razer orange switches, but they are different in the actuation pressure or fundamentally different type of mechanism. Hopefully it's not too long. Okay. Different in the actuation pressure. Yes, I recall Razer Stealth switches to be very slightly heavier than Cherry MX Brown switches, but not really in a bad way. But fundamentally different type of mechanism, no. They are using the same kind of mechanism. It's just tuned differently. And sometimes it might feel less satisfying. It's up to the owner's preference, again, the user's preference. Engku Hafiz asks, what is the difference between Topper and Cherry MX? This is a tough question. I have no experience with Topper because I can't afford Topper. Topper mechanical keyboards are generally above 1,000 ringgit. Way above. Unless you're getting them used at about 999 ringgit. So it's still... It's over my budget. I'd rather spend my money on other things. What are different stabilizers? Well, generally there are two kinds of stabilizers that we use in mechanical keyboards. First is the Cherry stabilizers, and the second is the Co-Star wired stabilizers. You could Google them for photos and stuff like that, but generally, Cherry keycaps, profile keycaps or whatever, you will be able to use it on the Co-Star keycaps, provided that you have the black pieces of plastics. Sam Yuxi, he's the legendary Yuxi. He is a designer for custom mechanical keyboards. He's known for his TGR Jane. I suggest you can check it out. But these are all really premium stuff. Oh wait, he doesn't even have a question. Hi Dato. Not that old. But hi Yuxi. Isa Ali Imran. Okay, the next guy, Isa Ali Imran. He's the guy who got me this Model M, IBM Model M behind me. If I like blue switches in the cherry view, would I love the tauper side as well? Any recommendations for entry-level tauper? Can't really answer that, but what I know is there is no entry-level tauper. If you want to go for tauper, just get tauper. And they will feel mushier compared to cherry MX blues. So I'm not sure if you like it. You can go and check out shops in Kuala Lumpur or wherever. Get a feel of it. If you like it, you can get it. Don't get fake taupers, by the way. Tauper clones, in my opinion. Also, Tay Keyboards of Australia, his opinion as well, is that it's just really lacking compared to tauper, and you're still paying a lot more for a fake tauper, which is around 700 to 800 ringgit depending on the model, and you may as well save the extra few hundred to get a real tauper. Hari Shahmi, keycap section, standard layout and non, types of profile, types of roll, ABS against PBT, double shot, NC, ISO, all in Luke's video. I'm sorry, you can check the link down in the description. But types of roll, yeah, you have R1, R2, R3, R4. Those are the height of the keycaps and everything like that. Okay, next guy, Kamani Ibrahim. Non-mechanical keyboard friends usually ask me why spend so much on mechanical keyboards rather than using a standard keyboard. Looks the same, feels really different. Really different. Mechanical keyboards are a lot heavier, a lot sturdier, and they last a lot longer. And membrane keyboards, at this point in time, it really feels like you're just going to spend a lot of money on membrane keyboards because you're going to be changing them every 2 years and you won't be able to sell them for any value. For the value of your hard-earned money, get mechanical keyboards. Even though they are more expensive, they last a lot longer and they have resale value. Side Capita. Never owned a keyboard with switches other than blue. Does red or brown switch have the same tactile feel as blue? No, there's a reason why they are different color. They do not have any similarities. I suggest you go to a shop, or you can even come by my place. You can check it out. I know you're my neighbor. Other than the noise, yeah, no. Red switches, as I said, there is no feel when you press it down. When you actuate it or whatever, there's no click, there's no feel. And it's really light. Next one. Muhammad Amiruddin, also a customer. What's the difference between switches in mechanical keyboards such as Gateron, KO, and Cherry MX? Well, Cherry MX is the original creator. Think of them as the... you can use the Panadol discussion here. Panadol, they invented paracetamol and they could sell only Panadol. Other companies couldn't make paracetamol until their patent expired. So once Panadol's copyright to their paracetamol expired, other companies can make paracetamols as well. So this is why nowadays you see Panadol and paracetamol. It's the same thing. Cherry is basically Panadol. Gateron, KO, and etc. are third-party brands. Doesn't mean that they are going to be lagging behind. In recent times, their quality has only been going up and up and up. Second question. If I'm getting a new mechanical keyboard, which characteristics should I have before buying? You need to decide on what kind of switches that you want. If possible, try them out personally. Have a feel on them. Whether you need the extra features such as macro keys or RGB lighting, follow your budget. Okay, I think we've come to the end of our video. I'm sorry that it took so long. I'm going to be really busy for the coming months. Chinese New Year is coming, and a lot of people are always looking for me almost every day to get mechanical keyboards for themselves. And quick update, I'm sure those of you who follow me know that I'm a gaming chair supplier as well, and I should be sitting on my previous gaming chair, the Hero series, but I kind of got a branded chair. I will explain why. It's nothing bad happened to my previous chair. It's just that I really wanted to get the feel of a much more expensive chair. I'm regretting it a little bit already, by the way, but overall, I just had to come to terms with it. This chair that I'm sitting on, it's 3 times the price of my own gaming chair. So after Chinese New Year, I'm going to start making batch orders for them again, bulk orders for them again. And before I do it, I'm going to record a video detailing the differences between this chair and the ones that I sell. So until then, I will not be handling new batches of gaming chairs, but mechanical keyboard business goes on as usual. So thank you for watching. It's a really, really long video, but there are just a lot of things that needed to be said. And I'm sure there's going to be more videos like this in the future. Just do not know what questions it is. If you have questions that were not answered in this video, you could comment on this thing below. You can comment below. Yeah, you can comment below, and maybe I'll make a second video of this, especially for keyboards that are, questions that are not generally answerable, not really relevant for other mechanical keyboard users. Okay, take care now. Bye.